what if you could go back in time and take all those hours of pain and darkness and replace them with something better?
Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if it's your first time. So I'm doing this in my big teaching room actually, which is, it's all right, I'm here 2 hours early, and I figured, yeah, let's do this. So let's talk about November. Okay, so we'll talk about the books I read first, and then we'll talk about what I did on the channel. So, first book I read, and this was a really nice beginning of a project I'm doing, was The Long Halloween, a much revered Batman graphic novel that has been a big influence on the Christopher Nolan films and also on the new Matt Reeves one as well. And I really am a massive fan of Batman, but my interaction with Batman has mostly been the films. I read bits of comics when I was a kid, but not really a lot of Batman stuff. And I should probably clarify that I did read Dark Knight Returns and The Killing Joke when I was a teenager. But this is a start of me reading sort of some of the big stories of Batman, and the artwork is fantastic. It's a brilliant story, beautifully told, which has significant influence on the interaction between Gordon, Harvey Dent, and Bruce Wayne. And Batman, really, more than Bruce Wayne. But a whole load of characters in it. It's a fantastic story. So I'll probably do a separate video on this. But anyway, The Long Halloween was the first thing I read in November. And then I read Fight Club. So this is part of the Banned Books project. I haven't done a separate video on it because I didn't feel like I had that much to say about it. It's really weird. I'm not sure. Maybe I will do it. I don't know. But it is part of that project. So it's part of the 24. But yeah, I was a little bit surprised by how indifferent I was reading it. I really liked the film, but I think reading it, I felt a little bit, I don't know, like I wasn't really connecting. It wasn't really speaking to me personally. But I'm glad I read it. But I don't know if I'm going to be a Chuck Palahniuk fan or not. I've got a few of his books, but I don't know. This is the first one I've read by him. But Fight Club, I read that. And then I read Paul Anderson's The High Crusade. This was really good. I really enjoyed this. So the concept of this was an alien invasion, but the alien invasion was in 1345. So at the heart of the 14th century, so during the 100 Years' War with the French, just before the plague. And really, really interesting plot, really just a bit different, and I didn't know where it was going. It was very unpredictable, and yeah, it was a good ending as well. So yeah, I was really impressed with this one. So this is the second Paul Anderson book I've read, and both of them I've really liked. So I'm going to continue reading him. And then I read a big one, Kindred, Octavia Butler. So this is for the Banned Books project as well. And this was phenomenal. This was definitely one of the best books I've read this year. One of the best books I've read, full stop. I thought it was absolutely amazing, and it's hugely important. I did a review of it, so while it was fresh, I did it straight away. So if you're curious, have a look at the review I've done on the channel. But it really is a phenomenal book. I'd recommend it to anybody. But it's some of it's quite harrowing, but it's got a very good, clear message, but it's also brilliantly characterized. You know, lots of fantastic characters in it. It's just an amazing book. So Kindred by Octavia Butler was amazing. And then I started a couple of books I haven't finished. I started The Mad Files, which was a gift from Pat, from Book Chat with Pat. So hugely appreciative of that. And this is really good. This is lots of different writers and artists talking about Mad and why they like the magazine. And there's a really cool chapter article by Grady Hendrix, author of Paperbacks from Hell, and lots of fiction. And there's an awesome bit by Robert Crumb as well. So those are the two most famous names, I'd say, in the people who are in it. But it's a really good book. So I'm enjoying that. And I've also started this. So as we speak, I'm about halfway through. And it's really good. It's starting to get really, really good. It was a little bit impenetrable at the start, the first sort of 30, 40 pages. And then once it started elaborating on the aliens, it started getting really interesting. And I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes. It could be going anywhere. So yeah, really interesting. Adrian Tchaikovsky's amazing. So, and I'm buddy reading this with Dave from Book Blather. Dave from our show, Is This Thing On? We've been talking about reading more Tchaikovsky together. So yeah, absolutely loving reading this. So we'll see what happens at the end. So I've still got that to read, and then once I've read that. Then I know the next book I'm going to be reading, which I'll be starting probably the day this is out, because I won't be putting it up today. I'll probably put this up probably in 2 days' time. No, probably tomorrow. Yeah, I'll put this up tomorrow. So by the time I put this up, I will have started The Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison, and I'm buddy reading that with Kim from Middle of the Book March, and we've been chatting on Voxer. It's been really cool. So we're getting to know each other as well, which is really good. So there we are, that's what I've read this month. So, what did I do on the channel this month? Let's have a look. So, November was the US election. And the month started, for me, with a video response to Donald Trump getting in. And then I did a video on the Read What You Own challenge. So I talked about that, because I'm not going to be buying any books now till Christmas. And then I thought I'd do... Oh, yeah, I talked about the Batman thing in one of the videos coming up, because then after that, I did a video on me tier ranking the films of Batman, and I talked about my project to read graphic novels in that video. And then I put up a song that I wrote for the homeless, and just thought, it's getting colder now, winter's about to start, and I wanted to put up my song that I wrote years ago for the homeless, and I thought it would be nice to put it up. And maybe people might have listened to it on... Actually, saying that, I was also prompted by the fact that it seemed to have hit a nerve on Spotify, and it's got 8,000 streams now, which is great, because that's a lot for Bemis. So yeah, it could be anyone, is what it's called. So have a listen to that if you're curious. Vocal harmonies. Then I did the first video in a series of videos I'm going to do called My Favourite Books. And I did a little video about Dimension of Miracles by Robert Sheckley. And then I did a video called Dangerous December, which I elaborated more on the banned book project. In fact, I'll be spending December concentrating on the banned books project, which is why I'm reading Invisible Man. But I'm hoping to read a few more as well this month. And then I did an announcement of my Belief and Behaviour bi-monthly book club, which is 6 books I'll be reading, hopefully with some other people, 1 book every 2 months through the year. And, it's got a bit of a theme as far as, like, human nature. And, yeah, it's kind of pushing myself to read stuff that I wanted to read, but I thought if I make a little book club out of it, then I'll probably read them. And then I did... I did a response to Pat from Book Chat with Pat about the election, because she did a really interesting video called A Few Good Words, and I did a kind of response to that. Then my Kindred review went up, and then I did a big sort of project kind of video that has been really received well, which is great. It was like a kind of my own version of what you see a lot from Library of a Viking. Library of a Viking? I think it's Library of a Viking. Yeah, Library of a Viking. And it was like 30 odd, about 31, I think, booktubers besides myself, giving their favourite read of 2024. And there's something similar coming up, because I won't elaborate on how it's going to come up, because I'm planning on doing something a bit different with it. But there was someone that's very close to my heart that he did actually send the video, but I didn't see it. So he wasn't on the video, but he did send his contribution. So I'm doing something else before we get to the new year, which is, you know, kind of on the back of that video. So that went up there. And then I did a video about what's coming up on the channel in December and January. Then I did a video which was a response to a couple of videos I'd seen on YouTube about this debate or just sort of this series of moaning videos that have been appearing on Book Talk, saying that books aren't political. So I thought it was a bit of an odd thing. So I had to put my boot in and have my say. And yeah, that's been received well as well. And I was trying to make a general point that even books that are not political, like directly like allegorical or something, can be political or can have political content, or content that becomes political because of a changing sense of morals or whatever. And then my part 12 of the Twilight Zone deep dive went up, which featured a couple of absolute classics. And then I did the BookTube Community Joy and Gratitude tag, which was originally done by Pat again. That's the third time I've mentioned her. And then I decided to put up a kind of review of all the Doctors that have played Doctor Who. So that was the last thing that appeared on my channel before this wrap-up. So yeah, it's been an interesting month. And because I got ill for a little while, and that kind of slowed down my reading a little bit. But I'm still happy with what I read. I read some really good things, even if it wasn't like a lot in number. So it was only like technically about 5 books. And I'd normally, well, 4 complete books actually, but I'd normally get to sort of 6 or 7 to feel like I'd had a good reading month. So it's not like horrendous. And you know, the books I had read and am reading, really good. So that's all good. But yeah, I hope that you have a good December. As I said earlier, I'm going to be concentrating on the Abandoned Challenge books. So I'll tell you more about that, what I'm reading as we go along. But thank you so much for watching. I did get to 15,000 hours of views, which is amazing. So I really appreciate that. Oh, and I've got a haircut, and it's going to look a bit weird because all of the other videos that you're going to see going through the month, probably, unless I film something else, I haven't got a haircut. But I counted them. I've got 60-odd videos that have been scheduled up. So, you know, there's that time-traveling thing happening again on the channel. It's funny when I get my haircut. But anyway, thank you so much for watching the channel and for subscribing. My subscribers are going up slowly as well, and I do appreciate that. Oh, actually, after I went up a lot this month because of that video, I think, that 30-plus booktubers video. So I really do appreciate it. And if you're new to the channel, then please comment. It gives me a sense of knowing what people like and all that kind of thing, if there's more interaction with some of the videos. And yeah, there's lots of good stuff happening on the channel. And have a fantastic December. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. Stay curious.
Paint me a picture of what it's like to be